Hello and welcome to the AFC Wimbledon September review for what's been happening in League Two in the 24-25 season. We're going to look at what's happened match by match, statistics, the squad, who's been playing, and some of the key aspects of the month. So let's get into it. Now, AFC Wimbledon entered September off the back of a promising start, winning 3 of their first 4 League Two matches in August. But a postponement against Tranmere due to international duty meant they had to wait until 14th of September for their next league match. Another challenge within September posed a third-round EFL Cup tie against Newcastle United after dispatching Bromley and Ipswich in rounds 1 and 2. But there was the small matter of the AFC Wimbledon pitch to deal with first, and we will come on to that later. So kicking off September match-wise, it was the big one. The rivalry with Milton Keynes is of course well documented, and AFC Wimbledon got the satisfaction with a 3-0 win as Callum Maycock came off the bench to score twice just to put the icing on the cake. So into the game, and Miles Hippolyte thought he had scored 6 minutes into the match. His left-footed strike came from a Milton Keynes giveaway, but it was well saved down low by Tom McGill. The MK goalkeeper was at fault though for Wimbledon's opener. He handled a back pass, meaning an indirect free kick inside the area. Hippolyte managed to blast it through a number of bodies, sending the home fans into absolute raptures. 1-0 to the Dons. Joe Tomlinson came closest for the visitors. His looping header early in the second half found itself striking the post, keeping AFC Wimbledon's lead just about intact. But with the minutes running down, Callum Maycock converted a counter-attack. Joe Piggott's low cross from the right was missed by substitute Josh Kelly, but it was fired home by Maycock high into the net, securing the match for Wimbledon. And we mentioned the icing on that cake, and it was Maycock again in the 7th minute of injury time, slotting in a Kelly pullback for a memorable substitution by Johnny Jackson and a very, very happy home crowd. Jackson praised his players for both their focus and their determination, saying it felt good because of the significance of the game, and it felt good because it's another 3 points on the road. For the second season in a row, Bradford City versus AFC Wimbledon in League Two at Valley Parade ended in a goalless draw. It's in fact 5 out of the last 6 matches between the two have ended on as even. In the match, Tyrick Wright fired a half volley straight at Wimbledon goalkeeper Owen Goodwin before the visitors blew a good chance of their own. James Tilley fired over after Omar Bugiel had found him unmarked in the box. Cheick Diabate came closest for Bradford as the centre-back saw his header saved fairly routinely by Goodman, and the goalkeeper managed to deny him again on the second opportunity. Matty Stevens did hit the back of the net for Wimbledon, but he was ruled offside, and many of the Dons' efforts were blocked by the Bradford defence as they put up a really good display. A clever worked Dons move almost broke the deadlock for them. Hippolyte cut inside, hit a left-footed shot that hit the inside of the post and trickled across the line, hitting the other outside post and away from the goal. Really, really unfortunate for Wimbledon and Hippolyte. So while Wimbledon failed to land a shot on target on the Bradford goal, they managed to hit the woodwork twice as Joe Piggott also headed against the top of the bar. 4 clean sheets in 4 were secured by the Dons, but not 3 points on this occasion. So September ended up being quite a short month match-wise for AFC Wimbledon with the 2 postponements in the league. Tranmere, of course, due to the international break, and the pitch, as we'll come to, ensured that the Accrington Stanley game would need to be rescheduled. The EFL Cup third round was also postponed against Newcastle United, which will now be played in St James's Park in October. In the 2 fixtures they did play though, 4 points, 2 clean sheets, a good return, and beating Milton Keynes always gives a positive flavour for Dons fans whenever that happens. So on to club news, stuff happening with the club in general. Obviously the squad was set at the end of the transfer window for the Dons. No further business was done on deadline day as all the incomings were set. Riley Harbottle was the last through the door from Hibernian as Johnny Jackson had his team set for the challenges ahead. And one of the big stories, of course, coming out of AFC Wimbledon in September was the damage to the stadium and the pitch being flooded. More than 100,000 litres of water was pumped out of the flooded stadium, and it was completely underwater, said the managing director. The pitch at the Cherry Red Record Stadium had suffered significant damage after the nearby River Wandle broke its banks. Looking at the photos, it looks like a golf course with sort of sand bunkers and extensive damage apparently underneath the surface, causing this kind of sinkhole effect. So initially it meant, of course, AFC Wimbledon had to postpone the EFL Cup match against Newcastle, as we said, and it's a question of how quickly they can turn this round. There's been a great pouring from the community and football community in supporting Wimbledon with the sort of funds and finances to support this. But terrible a disaster that's happened there for Wimbledon, and we hope they can get back to their home ground very, very soon. Now, looking at the lineups that Johnny Jackson has used, he's continued to stay with the 3-5-2 formation, with Isak Ugundere returning in a back three with Riley Harbottle and Joe Lewis. The midfield remained as Nerville, Smith, Reeves and Hippolyte, but with the inclusion of James Tilley at left midfield in place of James Furlong. And up front, Matthew Stevens continued and came back in to partner Omar Bugiel, with Joe Pigott helping out now and again from the bench. Callum Maycock was another, of course, to be utilised from the bench in the league. Proved itself against Milton Keynes. It can provide a dangerous goal-scoring threat. It'll be interesting to see him get more minutes as the season progresses. So looking now at some of the statistics for AFC Wimbledon's performance in the league up to the end of September. They're scoring on average of 1.5 goals per game. It's not pulling up any trees, but it also highlights the importance of their resolute defence. On all metrics of shots, shot on target percentage, as well as goals per shot and goals per shot on target, they are consistently just inside the top 10 of the division. But their actual shots on target is pretty low for a team currently residing in the playoffs. Early days, of course, but they're currently 18th for that average shot on target per game. They'll be hoping for more goals, but as we come on to now, their defence has been particularly strong. So yeah, that defence was doing an excellent job at the end of September. They extended their clean sheet run to 4 in the league. After conceding 4 in their first 2 games, Owen Goodman hasn't been beaten in League Two for 400 minutes at the end of September, going back to that Corey Whiteley goal in the 17th of August. So this shows in the stats as conceding 0.67 per game, which is ranking as 4th best in the league. Wimbledon are managing to heavily restrict the chances of their opponents to rain down on their goal. Goodman is only facing 3 shots on target roughly per game and making saves 78% of the time, which places him 3rd in the goalkeeper list for the league position. Generally, 15 fouls per game is the highest conceded by any team in League Two at this point, as AFC Wimbledon clearly looking to break up play. They're happy to concede possession and try and counter-attack with just 46% average possession so far. Despite their high number of fouls, they're only placed 6th in number of yellow cards at just 2.3 per game, so they're doing well to escape the referee's notebooks, and they have no red cards either. On to the top goal scorers, and Maycock's double against Milton Keynes sees him join Jimmy Ball at the top of the scoring charts. But with 5 substitute appearances, a combined minute total of 71 at the end of September, his goal per 90 minutes return does look exceptional. Last season, Ali El-Hamdi still managed to top the scoring charts for Dons with 13 league goals despite his move to Ipswich in January. It's early days and the goals are pretty well spread so far, with another 6 players scoring a single goal in the league so far at the end of September. Josh Kelly is another who made the impact from the bench against Milton Keynes with 2 assists in that game, although how he was credited with the first one was kind of more fortunate as he sort of missed his shot and fell over it and fell nicely for Maycock, but he's got 2 so far this season. Vice-captain Ryan Johnson has 2 assists to his name as well. He didn't feature in September as he recovers from a groin injury that he picked up against Fleetwood. Both Jake Reeves and Omar Bugiel have an assist to their name in the league as well. So at the end of September, the games are piling up for AFC Wimbledon in hand already. With 6 played so far instead of 8 by most of the division. They've already confirmed their match on the 1st of October with Chesterfield had to be postponed as well for the Newcastle EFL Cup tie. So a 6th place position sitting in the playoffs, an excellent return for their season so far. They'll be hoping to get the stadium sorted as soon as possible so they don't build up too much backlog of games. Wimbledon would have to play their planned 3rd round match against Newcastle at St James's Park, as well as 2 EFL Trophy matches against Crawley and Brighton under-21s to determine if they progress in that competition. In the league in October, they're facing away trips to Salford, Notts County and Port Vale, hoping to return to their home stadium against Carlisle before also entertaining Morecambe. So I wonder what the next month will hold for Wimbledon. Thank you for joining the video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please subscribe, like, notifications and all that jazz if you want to see more from me on Wimbledon, League Two, EFL in general. And also, if you like podcasts, I have an EFL podcast for you. If EFL football is your thing, and indeed National League football, check out the Absolute Football podcast, Monday, Wednesdays and Thursdays. On Thursday, it is our absolutely lower league show covering EFL and National League. Check the YouTube channel out now with EFL and National League previews. That's the Absolute Football podcast.